Hello students, hello everyone. Welcome to the third session of the Power Reading series. So I welcome all of you. Fine, so let's begin. I hope you're excited, so am I. All right. Hello students, hello everyone. Yeah, just a second. Welcome to the third session. Fine, I just need to do some volume control. Fine. Okay. So what exactly are we going to do today? Of course, mind mapping. This is quite clear. Mind mapping करने वाले हैं आज. And why is everybody talking about mind mapping these days? This is such a commonly quoted word, discussed so often, put up so often, because this is a magical formula. Yes, this helps you read better and more effectively. Fine, so let's get the nuances. What exactly are we going to do? Sabse pehle to we will be talking about what exactly is a mind map. Fine. Next comes how exactly are we supposed to do it? What are the benefits, the guidelines? And then we will do a practice exercise where we'll be doing a mind map. I am going to help you out make a mind map. Okay. So I hope you all are ready. Just a second, I'll have to keep reading your messages. So for that, I have to look down quite often to read your messages. All right. Chaliye students. So let's understand what exactly is a mind map. See, it's just a graphic or a linear organizer. Something that helps you visualize what exactly are you reading, something that helps to understand what are the points, key important points of a passage, and it also enables you to establish connections between individual pieces of information. Okay, so I hope you can see my slides. Is my slide visible? Yeah. All right. Okay. So, yes, classically, mind map is more graphic, but to be honest, in case of passages, because my focus is, of course, teaching you mind mapping for better comprehension of passages. So, in this case, we are going to follow a linear mapping kind of a style. Okay. So, I am here not going to talk about anything. Just a second. So here I'm not going to talk about the graphic thing because that is not relevant. From RC point of view, linear maps will be relevant. So let me put it very simply. What exactly is a linear map? A linear map is nothing but a kind of notes that you make. Whenever you read any chapter, we have been doing this right from the beginning. जब हम बच्चे थे तब से भी हम ऐसा करते रहते थे कि हम नोट्स बनाते थे अपने जो भी चैप्टर हम पढ़ते थे. So passages में भी आपको notes बनाना है, but style is going to be slightly different. Okay. Now let's talk about what are the places, what are the types of passages in which you can come up with a graphic mind mapping. So if there's a scientific passage, right, which is talking about some kind of classification, all right, or maybe it's elaborating a stepwise process, any kind of a passage which is elaborating a stepwise process, then it can be a kind of a flow chart. Okay. So compare and contrast. In such cases, you can make a graphic thing, which is going to be like a chart. I'll show you a sample. It looks something like this. Okay. Don't worry if you can't see the contents. It's anyway not that important. It's just an illustration. But we are going to make linear notes or linear maps. So let's understand what are the benefits of mind mapping. Okay. Benefits बहुत simple है. पहली बात, it helps you structure your thoughts. It enables you to make sense out of the passage. Okay, it will bring some order in the chaos. When you read a passage and you're lost, that's not going to happen with mind mapping. It enhances retention. Yes, class, it enhances retention. And of course, it facilitates comprehension. आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा चीजें याद रख पाते हो because of mind mapping. And the most important thing is you won't have to refer back to the passage for, you know, those main idea, tone and structure based questions. If they ask you the structure based questions, like they ask you what is the layout of the passage, or what is the primary purpose of the second para, or how is the first para connected to the second para. These kind of questions, they're about the structure or the layout of the passage. So anyway, with the help of a mind map, you can understand that really well. All right. And coming to the main idea, that of course we will understand better with the mind map. Regarding the tones, yes, of course, tone bhi aap samajh jate ho mind map padhne se, because you get the idea flow. So some guidelines for mind mapping. Just a second. So how exactly are you supposed to go about mind mapping? This is very crucial. Firstly, filter out unnecessary information and identify the key points. अब बच्चे यहाँ पे ही परेशान हो जाते हैं कि मैम, how are you able to understand what are the key points? Like, how do we do that thing? Well, that comes with practice. And let me tell you, if you, in a paragraph, if there's a statement, there's an explanation of the statement, and there are some examples. So, of course, you will understand that what is the most important point? The statement itself, not the explanation, not the examples. All right. If I am trying to mention an analogy in a paragraph, you need to understand that, a supporting thing, whichever it's trying to illustrate through an analogy, that idea is the key idea. So this is how, if I'm talking about an argument, and then I am giving logical reasons or evidences supporting it, and then of course my argument is the most important thing, but for sure the evidences and all the other reasons, they are also important enough. I am not going to completely skip them. They are also important. So this is how you actually pick out the key points. Okay. Skim through details and examples. Class, I've already told you that you're supposed to skim through the details and examples. Details are unnecessary. Examples are just to explain you the concept. ये बहुत important बात है, क्योंकि see, whenever I say numbers, I don't know why people are so obsessed with numbers, with facts and figures and statistics, and whenever, yeah. And particularly whenever we talk about these things, you should make sense out of it. If numbers are quoted, you try understanding what do these statistics mean. You have to make sense out of it. It's just a number. So the interpretation of that statistics is more important. If they're detailing a research, बहुत important बात है, आप ध्यान से सुनिएगा. If they are detailing a research, the research methodology and all that would not be that important. I'll skip it. Rather, I would say I'll skim it. I won't skip. I'll skim it. I'll quickly go through it. Okay? Fine. Now the point is, when I say research, ultimately the finding of the research is going to be more important. Research की findings are the important. Research से निकल के क्या आया, that's going to be more important. Okay? Next thing is, which is very important, try finding out the topic sentence. What is the topic sentence? If in mind mapping you're able to find the topic sentence, nothing like it. Topic sentence is that sentence of a paragraph which tells you the main idea of the paragraph. So beta har paragraph ऐਵੇਂ नहीं लिखा हुआ. There's some main idea about it, isn't it? तो आपको हर पैरा का मेन आइडिया निकालना है. बहुत ही सिंपल उसूल माइंड मैपिंग का मैं आपको बताऊं तो देयर आर टू बेसिक स्टैंडर्ड अप्रोचेस व्हिच आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस इन अ व्हाइल. क्लियर हो जाएगा कैसे आपको करना है. So topic sentence you won't get always, but whenever you get a topic sentence in a para, it becomes very easy for you to skim through the remaining paragraph because you've already understood the essence of the para. That's how it is done. Okay. Next is relating to your prior knowledge, okay, or understanding. It facilitates comprehension. See, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, all right. I'm trying to say that if, of course, I have read enough on economics, and whatever I am reading, say I'm reading about per capita income, So it will make sense to me. Or I'm talking about, the passage says about some macroeconomic indicators. So of course, I already have conceptual knowledge about it. So I can relate to all that I know. It's going to help me. But beware, don't use outside information while answering the questions. This is just to get conceptual clarity. You're not allowed to use any outside information. जो passage में दिया है, उसी पे rely करेंगे. Is this much clear? Okay, Chali, great. So I think with these guidelines for mind mapping, let's finally try an exercise. Okay. This is one important thing. See, there are two common ways of linear mind mapping. Since we are primarily talking about linear मतलब notes की तरह point wise, graphic मतलब design जैसा, charts हुए या फिर किसी type के stems बना के जैसे भी. Two common ways of linear mind mapping. क्या हो सकती है? The first thing, key ideas method. So what do you do in the key idea method? This method is adopted for maximum retention. You try to pick up each and every key idea. Now class, one thing I have to assert here. आपके दिमाग में अभी चल रहा होगा कि मैम इतना सारा हम कैसे कर पाएंगे? हम एग्जाम में क्या बैठ के नोट्स लिखेंगे? Are you kidding me, ma'am? How is it possible? Class, so let me make it very clear. You are doing it initially, right now, in your preparation. Do this for a month, or depending upon what is your level of comprehension, accordingly you have to do it. And over the period of time, I'm sure you will get better and better, and a point will come when you will be able to do it mentally. Yes. So in our exams, you have to do it mentally. And anyway, we have an advantage with the offline paper, the way it was this year. I hope that's going to be that way the next year as well. So with the offline pattern, you can underline key points in the passage itself. And at max, if you want to write down something, you can just in 4 to 5 words, you can write down something important in the passage if you want. Rest is, we would have done this game quite well, so we will be able to do it mentally. But initially, you'll have to practice it for at least 20 to 25 passages, or depending upon your level of proficiency. Okay, so I was telling you about two common ways of linear mind mapping. Okay, one is the idea method. What happens in this? Key idea method में आपको सारे key ideas जो होते हैं ना, वो बिल्कुल brief में लिखना है. Class, we don't write complete sentences. We use symbols. We use notations. In minimum words, we are going to pick up all the key ideas. That's the key idea method. The second is heading method. That's a very concise way of doing it. You only find out the main idea of each para. You don't delve into the details. You don't pick up each and every important idea. You only focus on the main idea of each para. Now, sometimes it happens that depending upon the kind of passage, you may choose your strategy. Sometimes some passages are very dense. वो बहुत dense होते हैं, तो हर para में बहुत सारे key ideas होते हैं, so it becomes important. So I would suggest key ideas method is better, I believe, because इससे आपको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा retention होता है. और अगर passage आपको इस type का लगता है कि जिसमें एक main idea निकालना is enough, then you're good to go. It's absolutely your choice. Okay. Fine. Fine, so class, somehow it's slight glitch out here that I can't annotate. So I'm really sorry for this glitch that I can't annotate. So not an issue if you can follow my cursor. I think it will be nice. I'll not be able to write something, but at least I'm sure I'll be able to get through. जो मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ, you'll have to listen to me slightly intently. Yeah. Okay. So अब ये पैराग्राफ है, right? One by one हम इस पैरा को पढ़ेंगे. Passage में around 4 paragraphs हैं. One by one हम इनको करेंगे. I will be doing it with you. Okay, let's do it kind of together. But class, I'm not getting your messages somehow. I'm sorry. I know many of you are watching, but I am unable to. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Fine. So coming to this, see what this passage says. The 2017 Edelman Trust Barometer. I don't focus much on names. They're such big names. You don't have to kind of register them in your mind. Okay. This blah, 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 whatever. With surveys, people across 28 countries found declining public trust across business, media, NGOs, and government for the first time in 17 years of research. Now, what is important? There's some organization, we don't care about the name. They're doing a survey in many countries, don't care about the numbers. They're doing a survey in many countries. सबसे important चीज इसमें है declining public trust. The public, people of the country, उनका ट्रस्ट डिक्लाइन हो रहा है, नीचे जा रहा है. ओके, उनका जो ट्रस्ट है वो बहुत कम है, कम होता जा रहा है. इट्स काइंड ऑफ डिटीरियोरेटिंग. ओके, फाइन. एंड देन दे कोटिंग अनदर रिसर्च, वो भी बता रहा है कि ट्रस्ट इन गवर्नमेंट इज अलार्मिंगली लो. पहले उन्होंने बोला कि इन गवर्नमेंट, मीडिया, एनजीओस, बिजनेस, इन सारी चीजों में. The second one is specifically talking about government. All right. Other studies suggest an overall decline of trust among people in many countries, particularly in nations where income inequality, educational attainment levels, gross domestic product, and civic engagement are low. So now it is telling me कि कौन सी जगहों पर normally trust कम हो रहा है. वो जगहें जहाँ पे ये these host of problems exist, which are normally in every developing or underdeveloped country, I would say, right? Income inequality hai, education enough nahi hai, GDP come and all that. So what is this telling me? Let me pick out the important points. And here I've already done it for you. How do I do it? See, there's a survey. Can you see it? There's a survey. Declining. मैंने पूरे पूरे words नहीं लिखे, symbol है, symbolic है, मुझे पता है what I'm writing, so you don't have to, you can make your own notation. Symbols quickly करना है. Declining public trust in government, media, business, etc. Common in nations with problems. In fact, आप चाहो तो problems भी ना करो, but मैंने आपकी understanding के लिए bracket में लिखा low GDP, economic inequality, etc. ठीक है? Is this much clear? Okay, done. Now we move to the second para. ये clear है ना? पहला para सिर्फ बता रहे survey है कि public trust कम हो रहा है in government institutions and other institutions alike, और वो कौन सी जगहों पे, इस type की countries में हो रहा है. That's it. और कुछ important नहीं. Now we come to the next. There is no one culprit driving the widening trust gap, but leading candidates include public and private sector corruption. Now there seems to be a long list. But ये list मुझे बता क्या रहा है? What are the factors which are widening the trust gap or the trust deficit? कौन से factors हैं जो मुझे trust, ये जो मेरा trust deficit है, ये बढ़ा रहे हैं? किन वजहों से trust मेरा कम हो रहा है? Public and private sector, corruption, okay. Poisonous public rhetoric. Now this is a थोड़ा सा difficult word, समझ आ रहा है, अच्छी बात है, नहीं समझ आ रहा, कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है. Rhetoric is basically a very convincing kind of a communication or a speech. Public rhetoric is those kind of discussions which are very poisonous, which take place in public circles. Okay. Government's inability to provide essential security and human services. वही government अच्छे से, अब ये चीजें जो है ना, सच बताऊं, you are supposed to skim. तेजी से नजर मारो, जल्दी जल्दी, क्योंकि हम उसको रिलेट कर रहे हैं, हम कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं. हमें वो पहले बता चुका है, already told us what kind of countries are plagued with such a problem. We already know about that, right? So in countries where there's corruption, where there is public rhetoric, okay, fine, there's no law, fine, or breakdown in law, economic problems, inequalities, individual voices or votes don't matter, how relatable it is. Elites and powerful have rigged the system, all systems to benefit themselves. Quite relatable. That's what I said. That connect to your previous understanding of the world, whatever you know. तो इस टाइप की कंट्री, ये सारे फैक्टर्स जो होते हैं उनकी वजह से जो पब्लिक का ट्रस्ट है वो कम हो रहा है. ओके, अ डर्थ ऑफ ट्रस्ट. डर्थ मतलब क्या होता है बेटा? डर्थ मींस लैक, कमी. A dearth of trust in institutions carries huge social and economic costs. Now they've changed the track. Now they're telling you that this is not a good sign. It has a big cost. And if researchers are correct that trust is easier to destroy than construct, the consequences of today's trust deficit could harm societies around the world for many years to come. Yes, now they are telling me about the consequences. Firstly, they told me that there's a survey that there is a trust deficit in different institutions, especially the government. Next, they're telling me why is the trust deficit happening. See, always connecting the paragraph, every fresh para that you read, connecting it with the prior para, that is important. That's how you don't lose sight of the big picture. Otherwise, you are lost. So you have to establish connections. That's how it goes. Okay. So they're telling me finally what causes this trust deficit, and eventually this is not a good sign. This is going to harm the society for many years. The entire world is going to get impacted by that. Okay, तो ये देखिए मैंने इसके लिए ये बना लिया है already. What causes trust deficit? या आप simply causes of trust deficit कर सकते हैं. और मैंने इसको एक हाइफन दे के मेंशन किए कुछ बातें. करप्शन, government's inefficiency, economic inequality. ठीक है? Trust deficit, harmful. That's it, isn't it? तो इतनी लंबी चौड़ी बातें उनको हमने इस तरह से सिंप्लीफाई कर लिया है. जो गार्बेज था उसको थ्रो ऑफ कर दिया और जो एकदम क्रक्स था उसको हमने रिटेन कर लिया. That is a skill. Now I was talking about that headline वाला और heading वाला जो माइंड मैपिंग था. हेडिंग माइंड मैपिंग के हिसाब से आप क्या कर सकते थे? सिंपली आप लिखते थे causes एंड consequences ऑफ ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट. आप ये पॉइंट्स एनलिस्ट नहीं करते उसमें, या सिंपली आप causes ऑफ ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट लिखते थे. बट कीवर्ड्स वाले में या की आइडियाज वाला जो माइंड मैपिंग है उसमें हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा पॉइंट्स इंक्लूड करने की कोशिश करते हैं. आई होप इट इज वेरी क्लियर टू ईच वन ऑफ यू. Yeah. एक second. So class, this time I want you to read this paragraph on your own. Please do it on your own. Yes, class, come on. I think it's quite an easy one. Can you attempt this particular para? See what it is telling. Okay, okay. What is this telling? Fine. आप यहाँ पे देखिए ध्यान से, पब्लिक ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट, भाई पब्लिक का ट्रस्ट जो कम है उसको हम डेफिसिट बोल रहे हैं. मे कंटेन द जर्म्स ऑफ इट्स ओन क्योर. इसका क्या मतलब है कि खुद ही उसमें उसकी वजह से वो खुद ही ठीक भी हो सकता है. हाउ? बाय हाईलाइटिंग डिसफंक्शन एंड इनइक्विटी. डिसफंक्शन मतलब व्हेन थिंग्स आर नॉट फंक्शनिंग प्रॉपर्ली. इनइक्विटी मतलब inequality, sorry, injustice. Equity is justice, right? So injustice. अगर हम highlight करते हैं इन चीजों को, people may rise up with new coalitions and new solutions that in turn bridge social divides. हम जितना ज्यादा इन चीजों को highlight करेंगे, that may bring about people coming up with coalitions, working out or forging solutions. And this may, in fact, bridge the social divides. This may reorient or revamp the power dynamics and rebuild public trust. The biggest worry is that neither will happen and that societies will rely on wishful thinking. So now it says that, unfortunately, kuch bhi nahi hone wala. It's not going to work out because public people will just be wishing it. They'll not be doing anything about it. That's the sad part. So they'll be relying on wishful thinking rather than proactive effort to bring about change. Okay. So this is a frightening prospect. So मेरे हिसाब से ये पैरा उतना important नहीं है. ये पैरा सिर्फ ये बता रहा है कि हो सकता था कि by highlighting this issue कुछ अच्छा हो जाता, solution निकल आता. But ultimately nothing of that kind is going to happen. It's all a wishful thinking. So I have actually see how I have put it up. Okay, all the key points. Highlighting trust deficit could lead to solutions, but may never happen. This thing may never happen. Simple. And now this is important. Here onwards, you feel that passage may there is quite a change. There's an inflection of ideas. All right. So देखते हैं इसको. Societies can replenish trust and social cohesion by taking several concrete steps. Now, as an active reader, I now know that they are going to discuss what are the steps that we should take to bring about public trust. Okay, to replenish trust. Replenish is to refill or to provide enough trust. Fine. First of all, now here comes the first point. First of all, many institutions can contribute to greater transparency and accountability in the system to build trust. Class, agar aapko yaad ho, sometime back I told you about topic sentence. Yes, my dear students, this is the topic sentence. The first sentence, many institutions can contribute to transparency and accountability in the system to build trust. अगर आप system में, हर system में transparency लाओगे, अगर transparency clear है, हमको दिख रहा है, जनता को दिख रहा है क्या चल रहा है किसी भी system में, किसी भी government office में क्या चल रहा है, and if every institute, every system is accountable enough. Accountability is when you're answerable to people. Okay, when you're responsible for each and every action, that's accountability. So if you have these things, automatically public trust बढ़ेगा. Now look at this. यहाँ से लेकर the end of the paragraph is just a detail. It's full of examples. So as a smart reader, आपको एकदम से नहीं समझ में आएगा. लेकिन जब आप next sentence पढ़ोगे, you will get a hang of it that, boss, this is just a detail going on. The most important determinant of social trust, whether school, this, right? Just skim, quickly, glide your eyes. दिमाग में बिठाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Is how well they do their jobs. वो अच्छे से काम करे, हर चीज, हर setup, हर system अच्छे से काम करे, and they should provide value to the citizens. Media sector का भी example दे रहा है. They should expose corruption. Court and law enforcement agencies, right? उनको भी पता चल जाए कि powerful people cannot escape from law. There's no impunity. Impunity is when you're impunishable. You can't be punished. That's impunity. There's no impunity. Everybody is equal. Okay. And again, the last sentence, again, it says that it can reduce corruption by making process transparent, etc. बहुत simple. कैसे हम करेंगे इसका ये देखिए. Steps to increase trust and cohesion. ठीक है ना? This was the heading. What are the steps to increase trust? The first point, systems be accountable and transparent, do their jobs well, reduce corruption. पूरा इतना लंबा चौड़ा paragraph का class C, we have condensed it now. We've just distilled the important points and thrown away all those details. Isn't this magic? This is so amazing. Second para is very simple, short. Jaldi se padhte hain. Secondly, develop future leaders who work for the greater good, not for themselves. In too many countries, government leaders hold on to office for decades. Many of them suppress opposition, use their offices to benefit themselves and their allies, and do little to strengthen overall accountability or transparency. What is it talking about? यहाँ पे भी पहला sentence जो है, that is the topic sentence. We are lucky today. And बाकी जो remaining paragraph है, it is simply elaboration, full of examples, just to drive home that point. तो ये कह रहा है कि ऐसे लीडर्स को आप डेवलप करो जो जनता के लिए काम करें, खुद के लिए ना काम करें. Right? And they're saying that, you have so many leaders जो decades तक, राज करते रहते हैं countries के ऊपर, and they suppress opposition, they benefit themselves, and it's very difficult to reform such leaders. It's better that you nurture new ones who work for the public good. So again, look at this. One short sentence is summarizing it so beautifully. आप हर पैरा को in a way summarize कर रहे हो, but not in a complete sentence, not using flashy words, in very simple phrases rather. You're not even forming complete sentences. Develop leaders who work for people, not selves. एक sentence में मैंने पूरे paragraph को capture कर लिया, and finally this is the last para, और उसके बाद में आएगा एक बहुत अच्छा question जिससे मुझे पता चलेगा how much have you grasped the entire outline of the passage and the entire structure of the passage. Are you clear with the theme or not? Did you grasp the passage well or not? Okay, so let's read this one. Thirdly, so this is the third and the last point. Thirdly, trust builds when people feel they are part of a community or society-wide enterprise that takes their concerns and voices into account, particularly in circumstances where trust is low. समझ में आ गया? जब लोगों को लगे कि वो एक सोसाइटी का हिस्सा है, if you alienate them, if you marginalize them, तो उनको तो ट्रस्ट आएगा ही नहीं. ठीक है? When people feel they are blocked from opportunities because of their जल्दी पर gender, race, age, हमें पता है क्या होती है, inequality, we know very well. All right, gender, race, religion, disability are the reason. It's hard to expect them to trust the institutions they feel are marginalizing them. जब उनको ऐसा लगता है कि उनके साथ भेदभाव हो रहा है, तो वो अपने आप को सोसाइटी का हिस्सा नहीं समझते हैं, उनके साथ दिक्कत आती है. Of course, I think it's very clear, and that's how the trust deficit creeps in. And finally, the author is suggesting something even more concrete, that land distribution reforms that gives people opportunity to own land, access to banking and finance, education, skills training, help many people overcome economic barriers and foster social inclusion. बहुत प्यारा term use हुआ है यहाँ पे, social inclusion. When you are including everybody in the ambit of the society, when nobody is left out, everybody equally feels a part of the society. इस passage के through कितना अच्छा message भी जा रहा है एक तरह से, है ना? What the society needs, it's even covering that aspect. So what is the third point? किस तरह से हम इसको capture करेंगे? How can we summarize it best? Here it is. इतना brief में, improve social inclusion, promote social and economic equality. जो पहला part था, क्या वो social inclusion नहीं कह सकते? People should feel they are part of the society. They should feel that they belong to the society, they are included, yes or no? Promote social and economic equality. ये कहाँ से आया? ये throughout paragraph में आ रहा है ना? उन पे gender के basis पे, race, religion, disability, ethnicity, किसी भी बिना पर उनमें अगर भेदभाव होगा तो ये होगा. So we are promoting social equality, and here access to banks, finance, and all that is going to promote economic equality. So isn't that amazing? That's the end of the passage. So अब मैं आपको finally दिखाऊंगी after reading the entire passage. This is what my mind map looks like. यहाँ जो first blank है, मैं चाहती हूँ every time that you finish reading a passage and you make a mind map, you must always at least envisage the main idea. If you don't write it down, at least envisage it very clearly. And here, वही सारे पैराग्राफ्स जो मैंने पैरा के हर पैरा के नीचे दिखाए थे, वही सारे पॉइंट्स हैं. पैरा 1 का, पैरा 2, पैरा 1, पैरा 2, पैरा 3, पैरा 4, पैरा 5. ये देखिए, 3 steps to increase trust and cohesion. All these points in one place. This is what we have done. It was a lengthy enough passage. 500 words का passage था वो, but उसको हमने इतने brief में इतना compact कर दिया. This is the magic of mind mapping class. So I believe I have told you why mind mapping. I've told you what are the guidelines, and in fact I illustrated it out. मैंने आपको दिखाया. अब आपका एक रोल आ रहा है. Now there's a question on main idea, and you have to answer. और इसको देख के मुझे पता चलेगा कि आपको कितना समझ में आया. Carefully go through all the options. I'm waiting for your answers, class. Class, this is just the end of the session. After this, we are done with the session. Right? So I hope आपको समझ में आया. You just need practice now. बस ये आप मेरे को इसका आंसर बताइए. Come on, shoot. I'm waiting for your answers. Come on, quick. All right, all right. Answers, please. Okay. I believe it was very easy, especially after discussing this entire passage in such a nice detail. All right, I deliberately kept it bilingual this time because some students had requested me to also speak bits of Hindi so that it's clear to everyone. Okay, chaliye, let's finally discuss. So, main purpose of the passage is actually the main idea of the passage. एंड इतना करने के बाद में क्लियर होना चाहिए. हमने सबसे पहले बताया कि ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट है, ठीक है, उसके कारण क्या है, और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है three-way pronged process or a threefold strategy for replenishing trust. ये सजेस्ट किया ऑथर ने. अब हम देखते हैं आउट ऑफ द ऑप्शंस गिवन which one is the best. ए क्या बोलता है? Argue that trust deficit can be improved by providing independence and requiring accountability and transparency. Trust deficit can be improved by providing independence. Where are they talking of independence, bhai? Now, normally they frame such options. इसमें कभी ना कभी they include such points which are different, which are either beyond scope or are twisted ideas. Not the original ideas which are presented in the passage. They're nowhere talking about independence. They're all independent countries that we're discussing. We're talking about governments, but yes, they're talking about responsible leaders should step in. But then they're nowhere talking of that, there should be no government or there should be anarchy and we need complete liberation from any kind of a control, nothing like that. Accountability and transparency was one point. So because of this thing, providing independence, which is not supported by the passage, option A gets eliminated. All right. Yeah. B, assess the ability of social institutions to function and serve the people they are intended to benefit. Seriously, I thought this passage was about trust deficit. This was about declining trust in the people. It's not even talking about that. And is my entire passage about it. And are we assessing the ability? Are we evaluating the ability? We already know that there isn't enough of ability in the social institutions. Social institutions are already failing to do their job. That is taken, that is legit, that we already know. We are here more talking about what can be done now. Right? So B is very incomplete, I believe. And not at all. It's not true. It's not correct. We eliminate B as well. C, analyze the shortcomings of government and social institutions to manage trust issues. Okay. Analyze the shortcomings. Shortcomings are limitations. Limitations of government and social institutions to manage trust issues. Fine. This is not very convincing because they are not just analyzing the limitations. They're not just talking about the limitations, but the passage is about much more. Okay, so if I find a better option, I'll go for it. Look at D. Find solution to the problem of declining trust by examining different strategies. Now you can compare yourself. What is a better option, C or D? Of course, D delta, because it is very beautifully capturing it that we are addressing the problem of declining trust. Of course, usme wo sab include ho gaya that you're telling that there's declining trust, and then uska solution आप दे रहे हो. There are different strategies जिनके बारे में बात हो रही है. Okay, so C is more vague, D is more definitive, and it captures the entire essence in a better way. So D delta is going to be the right answer. So class, that's all for today. Now you just need to practice. I hope you will be drawing mind maps. I hope you are going to benefit. Thank you so much. And that's all from my side. Take good care of yourself. Okay, okay.